Good morning, everyone.
Breaking news now.
It is 9 a.m. and we are following breaking news this morning of a deadly officer-involved shooting yesterday. It was in the city of Buffalo. We can confirm an officer did shoot and kill a suspect, and we are expecting to hear from Acting Police Commissioner Craig Macy at 10:30 this morning, an hour and a half from now. But right now, we do know some details. Here's what we know. Around 11 o'clock last night, officers responded to a call on Minnesota Avenue. Buffalo police say a man was having a mental health crisis, and things escalated to the point where he held 3 people at knife point. Investigators can confirm that one officer discharged his taser, but the other officer fired his gun at that man. He was taken to ECMC where he was declared dead. We don't have any other details beyond that, but we will update you immediately after the press conference on Channel 2 News midday at 11 a.m. And again, that conference starts at 10:30 this morning. In more breaking news this morning, 14 people are displaced after a massive 3-alarm fire at an apartment house in Lockport. It happened around 9:30 on Genesee Street. 14 people managed to get out safely. It took crews about 45 minutes to get the fire under control. They rescued several pets, but one rabbit did not survive. Damage is estimated at about $90,000. Fire investigators were at the scene. However, the cause of the fire has yet to be determined. Developing overnight, Israel targeted the Lebanese capital of Beirut and the Iranian capital of Tehran with intense overnight bombings. Iran fired back with a new round of strikes, including on Tel Aviv. Meanwhile, the U.S. Central Command says American forces struck a key Iranian naval drone carrier. Central Command released video showing a ship burning at sea. Iran has not acknowledged that attack. And much of Congress remains divided on the fighting going on in the Middle East. And yesterday, the House voted against a resolution that would have limited President Donald Trump from taking further military action without congressional approval. The vote failed just one day after a similar effort fell short in the Senate. The War Powers resolution failed largely along party lines, with Republicans voting no and Democrats supporting it. Meanwhile, one of those yes votes came from New York Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, who spoke yesterday about her decision.
We can support the Iranian people in their desire for freedom and democracy. There are many ways to support a protest movement within Iran, but it does not mean that we need to declare war against Iran to be supportive.
Senator Kirsten Gillibrand is also warning about the potential for rising costs here at home, and we already are seeing it at the pump, with AAA reporting gas prices nationwide at their highest level in nearly a year, $3.32 a gallon, more than 30 cents higher than a week ago. And here at home, the average is $3.22 a gallon. And here in Western New York, we've got an update on a story that we first told you about last week. A Buffalo man facing federal sexual exploitation charges in connection to a missing teen from Ohio has now been extradited out of Western New York and is in an Ohio jail. Buffalo FBI agents arrested 43-year-old Kyle Lawrence after he allegedly committed statutory rape with a 16-year-old, Madison Fields. The Ohio teenager has been missing for 3 weeks now, since February 13th. According to our sister station in Cincinnati, in an investigation into her disappearance, Lawrence admitted to communicating with Fields via Snapchat. Lawrence then traveled from Western New York to Cincinnati to meet with her several times, according to investigators. They say license plate readers and receipts confirmed that Lawrence rented a Jeep, picked Fields up, and the two stayed at a hotel together. Investigators are continuing to search for the 16-year-old. The Ohio Attorney General's office says the case has been upgraded to an endangered missing juvenile case. And another update this morning, a mother and stepfather facing serious accusations about torturing a child were back in court. Jacqueline Balabas and Paris Woods are charged with child abuse, and they were back in court for a pretrial hearing yesterday. Prosecutors say they punished a 7-year-old by holding him underwater, starving him, and forcing him to exercise. The child was hospitalized for 8 days and treated for hypothermia and other injuries. The Erie County District Attorney Michael Kane says that all available information has now been handed over to the defense team, and the case will return to court in April, with jury selection expected to start in October. We're working to learn more about this scene near East Amherst Street and Park Ridge Avenue in Buffalo. Video sent to us by a viewer shows Buffalo police and the SWAT team on the scene. A spokesperson for the police department tells 2 on Your Side that the SWAT team was serving a warrant in that area, but they could not give us any more information. If we learn more, we'll update you on air and on our website, WGRZ.com. A new audit from the Erie County Comptroller is raising red flags about the way that the county's assigned counsel program is being run. That program uses taxpayer dollars to pay for lawyers for defendants who can't afford to hire their own. The office of Kevin Hardwick acted on a tip from a whistleblower who suggested that there was abuse by attorneys billing more than they should. And then they looked back over a 3-year period ending in 2024 and focused on the top 16 attorneys in terms of the amount they billed. One billed $465,000 in 1 year, while claiming to have spent more than 3,000 hours on cases in another year. And in another instance, according to the audit, a lawyer billed $14,000 for a misdemeanor case that eventually ended with a plea, which would normally cost about $1,000.
So there may have been a need for some more oversight. Certainly we've drawn attention to this problem. And I know that the folks, the administration at Assigned Counsel are taking this seriously. They're looking at some stuff. They're going to get back to us. But in the meantime, this is out there and the data are there for anyone who wants to look at them.
We're responsible for the taxpayer dollars that go towards this program, so we're calling on the district attorney to launch an investigation to make sure that taxpayer dollars are being managed responsibly. This is irresponsible management. There's nothing else to say about it.
No lawyers were named in the audit, but Hardwick says that they have the names and they will provide them to the DA's office if it is interested in pursuing this case. Well, the Walden Galleria is getting ready for Easter, and starting today at 2 o'clock, the mall's inviting families to get their picture taken with the Easter Bunny. It's going to be happening on the lower level of the mall right near the Apple Store, and they're encouraging families to sign up online in advance. Easter is just about a month away, Patrick.
Those bunnies looked okay.
There are some really frightening looking Easter bunnies out there.
We're talking like terrifying, nightmare making. It's the spirit of Easter. We love the bunnies.
Yes.
But sometimes the larger, what do you call them? Mannequins?
Caricatures?
Caricatures that you said. Yeah. They
mascots?
Right. We should find some of those. They're online.
Oh, I've got a
bunny.
good one. And I don't want to expose where we took this picture with Elliot years ago with a local Easter bunny, but it was terrifying and kind of disgusting too, because those whitish pink pastel costumes are hard to keep clean, and this one looks like it hadn't been cleaned in about 40 years.
It is weird. You think of bunnies and they're cute, adorable, fluffy. You know, but there's something about a larger version of them. Like a large dog is fine.
Sure.
But it's the bunny. Okay. Anywho, let's get to it. We've got mostly cloudy skies. We go from 50 to 68 tomorrow. Scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening. Sunday, about a 20-degree drop. But we should see dry skies on Sunday with actually some mostly sunny skies in the afternoon. We are going to be kind of, awash in clouds much of the day today. This is Salamanca. You can see that low overcast. Mostly cloudy, temperatures near 50. We do have some active weather to our west. This is associated with a couple of fronts that are going to move through tomorrow that will stir up the atmosphere a little bit and bring us some unsettled weather for parts of your Saturday. Tomorrow will be warm, 60s. That's, this time of the year it's warm. Close to 70. It'll be breezy with some showers, as you'll see here, possible in the morning. Dry today. Here we go. A couple of overnight, a couple of showers. See that early in the morning, and then they go through, and then the actual cold front comes through, and we'll see a scattering of showers and thunderstorms for your Saturday afternoon and evening. And these could pack a punch, okay? So heads up. We have a risk of small, strong to a few severe storms tomorrow, with the temperatures climbing into the upper 60s. And it will be breezy as well. The best chance of those thunderstorms, at least in the afternoon, will be south and east of Buffalo, but we all have a chance. High temperatures today, right around 50. Tomorrow morning, tonight into tomorrow morning, temperatures warm into the upper 50s, close to 60 tomorrow morning. And then in the afternoon, we're going to see temperatures climb into the upper 60s. And then on Sunday, upper 40s. So we're going to see a drop off. All right, forecast for today, mostly cloudy, 50, light winds. Tonight, cloudy skies, scattered showers towards morning, maybe a rumble of thunder, rising temperatures. And then tomorrow, scattered showers, an afternoon thunder shower, mild and breezy, high temperatures in the upper 60s. 7-day forecast. There it is, increasing sun on Sunday, but it is cooler. Monday, sunshine. Tuesday, increasing clouds around 60, a few showers, but rain on Wednesday with temperatures in the 50s. And then cooler weather, Melissa, on Thursday with highs in the 30s.
Are we staying in the 30s or are we going to go back up?
So, yeah, next weekend, which, by the way, was kind of our feature on our weather show Kevin and I do at 12:30. We'll have another one today. We talked about next weekend, the weekend of the parades, both the Old Neighborhood and the downtown St. Patrick's Day parades. Changeable weather that weekend. There is going to be a weather system moving through, which means it may be, a little milder leading up to the weekend, but then getting colder on Sunday and maybe a little rain shower or maybe even a snow shower on Sunday. So it's a weekend of change next weekend, okay?
Yeah, and real quick, I'm sorry. Tomorrow is the Shamrock Run at noon?
Noon.
Are we looking like it could still be dry?
I think could there be a shower? Yes, but all systems go.
Nice and warm.
Yeah, race time will be in the low to mid 60s. Absolutely. Enjoy.
Okay, that sounds great. All right, Patrick, thanks. We'll talk sports when we come back after this. A little Bad Bunny. Stay with us. All right, the Sabres, they are waking up tied for first in the Atlantic Division this morning after a big win in Pittsburgh last night, beating the Penguins 5-1. Buffalo struck first shorthanded. Ryan McLeod scored his 5th shorthanded goal of the season to make it 1-0. Then Pittsburgh came right back and tied it, but the game shifted in the second when Evgeny Malkin was ejected for slashing Sabres captain Rasmus Dahlin in the head. And then Josh Norris scored on the power play. Alex Tuck, Owen Power pulled the Sabres ahead before Matthias Samuelsson sealed the deal with an empty netter. I wish we could show you highlights, but we can't here as we stream. But take a look at that photo. This guy is going to be coming here to Buffalo. The Sabres added some size and experience and depth to the defense overnight because ESPN is reporting that Logan Stanley and Luke Shen are on their way to Buffalo from Winnipeg, with the Sabres sending Isak Rosén and Jacob Bryson there. Now, both of those players coming from Winnipeg bring playoff experience and toughness. Shen winning.
Do they play hockey?
Toughness, right? Shen won back-to-back Stanley Cups with Tampa Bay. And the trade came hours after the Blues star defenseman Colton Parayko exercised his no-move clause and decided he didn't want to come here to Buffalo. But we're also hearing that the Sabres have acquired Rangers forward Sam Carrick for a couple of draft picks, and the trade deadline is at 3 o'clock today, so we shall see if they make any more moves. But Pete's really our hockey expert on the Daybreak team, and he kind of is happy to bring those guys here.
Well, he brought it up as depth pieces because you're planning for playoff hockey, which means this season could be 1 to 2 months longer than what we've had recently, so you've got to get some depth to prepare for that.
It's really incredible that the Sabres are at the top of the Atlantic Division right now.
Tied
at the top of the Atlantic Division now with Tampa Bay, who does have two fewer games that they've played. But this weekend, the Sabres are playing them. So tomorrow they play the Predators at 5:30. Then they play Tampa Bay on Sunday. That is going to be quite a game. Really, really exciting. And I mean, right now, it's not the Sabres just trying to make the playoffs. The Sabres are trying to stay in the number 1 seed. It's absolutely amazing. The Sabres have won 5 straight games now. Now, the Dallas Stars have won 10 straight. But then the Sabres are the second best team.
Been there, done that.
True. The Sabres are the second best team, though, after that, with winning 5 straight games. Tampa Bay, by the way, is on a 4-game losing streak. So they're hungry, hungry. I don't know if they play tomorrow or
that they got
Saturday.
Embarrassed at home the last time the Sabres were there. So, they're going to be looking for a fight.
Right. And the Sabres will have to lose eventually, and that's going to just kind of sting, right? Because it's been so long since they've lost.
I know. Well, it's like we all kind of got a little, at least I did, nervous as the Olympics came, we kind of had this, like, we lost 3 of 4. It's like, oh my gosh, what's happening, you know? Is this going to carry over? And then we're like, okay, just 500 hockey between the end of the Olympics and the playoffs, just 500 hockey. Oh, we just won 5 in a row.
Right.
So now...
Keep on going.
Yeah.
And see how these new players fit in. I don't know how soon they'll be playing, but hopefully they can slip right in and give the defense a little bit of a boost.
Well, based
Hopefully
on the video, they're going to come in punching.
We really don't. Like, I don't know if we really have anyone who, there isn't really anyone on the team that's known for being a fighter.
We're lovers. We're not fighters. There was, of course, there was the famous brawl or no brawl last year. Remember when Tage Thompson got in a fight and nobody came up to defend him?
Right.
So.
And then they just dropped their gloves in the next game, like right off the bat.
Right. Oh, that's right.
Something.
Right. That's right. I forgot about that. And this year there's been a couple of scuffles. But yeah, I don't know who's the leader of who's the bruiser, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see if one of these guys will be.
Who's the Rob Ray?
Nobody's like Razor.
No.
Okay. As far as other moves, Bills-wise, they added some depth to their wide receiver room. Everyone talking about how we need a receiver. Is this the guy, the answer? They acquired Chicago Bears wide receiver DJ Moore and a 5th-round draft pick in exchange for the Bills' 2nd-round draft pick. Moore is an 8-year NFL vet who averages 79 receptions for over 1,000 yards a season and 41 touchdown grabs. He's ranked 13th among other receivers in the league and has already secured $24.5 million this season guaranteed. So here's what insider Vic Carucci had to say about the move.
It was so obvious that the Bills had a need to address at wide receiver, and this trade does that. They get a good football player. They get a good wide receiver who instantly becomes the #1 receiver on a team that is weak at that position. Would he be a #1 receiver on teams that had a better receiving corps, like the one he left, the Bears? Probably not. The Bills gave up a 2nd-rounder for him. That's a significant price. So his production has to equal that in order for this thing to be judged a success. And the other part, a big contract with a lot of guaranteed money comes with him to the Bills. Of course, some restructuring can happen to deal with that. But at the end of the day, the Bills had to get something done, and they assessed the whole terrain of the NFL market and came up with a guy who has history, by the way, with Joe Brady, the head coach, from their time in Carolina.
Yes, speaking of that time in Carolina, it's going to be a reunion of sorts. Joe Brady was his offensive coordinator for nearly 2 full seasons in Carolina in 2020 and 2021. But yeah, DJ Moore's got amazing stats, all with kind of mediocre quarterbacks for most of his career.
His best was with Justin Fields, but he played with a Carolina Baker Mayfield. He played with a Carolina Sam Darnold. Cam Newton. These are all good quarterbacks, but they weren't really at the time.
Right.
So he's like made the most out of, not the best quarterback play. So now he's going to, be with maybe one of the best. So let's see if that elevates his game.
Yeah. Could you imagine if they really did have that connection and that vibe that, for a long time that Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs had with each other, but maybe even something better. And hopefully he'll be a good team player too and fit right into to the locker room.
And
that's
you just hope this, you've seen a lot of additions that had hope that, Cooper, we tried that for size.
Yeah.
Claypool.
Amari Cooper.
Cooper, Claypool,
Yeah.
Vandis Scowling, the guy with the 5 names, Vasquez Scowling, Marquez Valdez Scandling, and remember that player? And then we had, Kelvin Benjamin. Remember him?
Yeah, none of the, very briefly with all these
And then we
guys.
had Emmanuel, Elijah Moore, of course, and then Emmanuel before Diggs. And then you had, there's just been
all of the viewers at home who know.
Okay, then Curtis Samuel and Palmer. These have been a lot of additions that have come in with a lot of stuff, and they've been okay, but haven't been like great. So maybe this is the player that would be great.
I get your point.
Did you follow all that? That was smooth television, just well produced.
Hopefully he'll be ready better than previous wide receivers is what we're saying. Okay, great. We're going to take a break.
Okay, great.
I'm going to give
Patrick, are you done?
The director, Amy Lawless, props for the Bad Bunny song that she played going into commercial for the last one, because we were talking about bad Easter bunnies. So funny. I didn't even put it together as I'm saying, oh, Bad Bunny. So, Amy, there we go. Makes me want to have a cocktail, too. Okay, we'll be right back. Welcome back. There are so many things happening in Western New York in the coming weekends with Shamrock Run. This weekend and the next weekend is all the St. Patrick's Day parades. And then the weekend after that, that's when March Madness comes into town, actually on Thursday the 19th and then Saturday the 21st. And one of the big problems the last time the NCAA hosted the tournament here was that fans just didn't have a lot of places to eat downtown. And so they're trying to figure out a way to be proactive this time and come up with a way to get fans fed. And so yesterday we told you that they're now planning on having food trucks down at the arena, which makes a lot of sense. Now there is another option, a shuttle to bring fans from KeyBank Center up to the Chip Strip. 2 on your side's Chelsea Swift has that story.
Several organizations and local businesses are stepping up to prepare for March Madness. On March 18th and 19th, the Chippewa Alliance and members of Visit Buffalo will greet visitors and give them info on things to do and where to eat and drink in the downtown corridor.
We've prepared a whole team of volunteers that are going to join Visit Buffalo staff on March 19th and sort of fan out in the vicinity of the arena with Ask Me signs. We have so much more infrastructure in that immediate vicinity. There are more restaurants, brew pubs, amenities to welcome visitors during that time.
On the 19th, the Chippewa Alliance will be running 2 buses back and forth from Franklin and Chippewa to the arena. These free bus shuttles will run during the 90-minute break in between games.
Bringing fans back and forward from the arena, we're very excited for it. I mean, it's going to bring a lot of money in for the restaurants, the hotels, the bars, and hopefully we can get them here on Friday and maybe back here on Saturday too.
Hawkins says he believes it's going to be a successful weekend for downtown business owners.
We all have the one goal of being successful, to see each other be successful, and our goal is to, you know, someone comes in here for a corned beef sandwich, they're going to go over to Soho and have some drinks, then they go to a rec room. I mean, it's great. We get so much more done when we're working together.
Okay, so a little bit of an explainer again. That shuttle is only going to be running on Thursday because with the NCAA, there are 2 games in the afternoon beginning at 1 o'clock on Thursday and then 2 in the evening. But in between the 2 afternoon and the 2 night games, there's only 90 minutes. And so they're saying, oh, people need to be fed. Now, you're going to have options to eat in the arena, like during the game, but it's between the games, what do you do? And so there really is only like Labatt House and Cobblestone and Hofbräu House and where Liberty Hound is. There aren't a lot of food options right there. So they're saying, okay, get on the shuttle and go up to the Chip Strip where there are 12 other restaurants and bars that you can go to if you want to. And there's also the Metro Rail also. So there are a lot of options now. They're not having the shuttle on Saturday because there's only, you know, once the teams lose, then they're not playing. So there's only 1 game in the afternoon and 1 game at night on Saturday, so they don't really have the need for the shuttle, and there's more time in between the afternoon and night games to get people where they need to go. This is all very interesting for people who are coming in from out of town that don't know how to navigate around Buffalo and also want to save money and not have to pay for an Uber, but also for like local people who might be parked and don't want to have to leave their parking spot and drive somewhere else to go get food.
Oh, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Leaving, oh yeah. Yeah, because you get pole position, you don't want to lose that spot.
Right.
Right.
So you know that Ubers and Lyfts will have surge pricing, so it's going to be expensive. So consider using the Metro Rail also for folks up in the North Town. You can park at UB South and take the Metro Rail underground all the way, and now there's a stop at the DLNW terminal, which will get you right into KeyBank Center.
Is that what that is, sir? Because I took an Uber once, and the next time I took the same Uber, it was twice as much. Why is that?
Surge pricing. And there aren't a lot of Ubers around, or depending on the time of day or the day of the week, or if, you know, I mean, think about a Bills game. If you wanted to go from one place to another a mile away, but it's during a Bills game, they're going to charge you a gazillion times more.
Huh.
Yeah, they're allowed to.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
And also, always check Uber and Lyft, compare the two, because one might be $20 and the next is $40 for the same ride at the same time. So make sure you do that. Okay, finally, we tried to talk about this yesterday, but didn't have time. Patrick, what house is this?
Brady Bunch.
This is the Brady Bunch house, and it is now officially a piece of history. The Los Angeles City Council has designated this home used for only the exterior shots of the Brady Bunch.
How many were in the Brady Bunch family? And that looks like a 2-bedroom duplex. I mean, 2-bedroom,
Not back in the 70s.
There's no way they fit. No, look at that. That's got 1 bedroom on the left and maybe 1 in the back, and they have maybe a finished basement.
People lived with a lot less.
There's no way.
Not everyone in a family of 4 needs a 4,000 square foot house, Patrick.
Anyway, so yes, they did not. That's not where the show was filmed.
I grew up with 1 bathroom and no door on my bedroom,
But
because
Marsha needed her own bathroom, I'm assuming. Right?
Well, we're glad that will forever live in history. Bye, everybody.
Where did Alice stay?